I want to share with you this video about our Darjeeling province, especially to thank our benefactors in Canada, our benefactors in Europe, Italy in particular, and also our friends in Japan and many of our other local benefactors. I hope you will enjoy viewing this video magazine. Come, be a friend of Darjeeling as we thank our benefactors, and I hope you will continue to be our friend and supporter of Darjeeling province. Enjoy this video. God bless you.
The Magis of the Darjeeling Jesuits. Darjeeling, known as the Queen of the Hills in the Himalayas at about 7,000 feet above sea level, is a gift of nature. The cool breeze that flows from the snow mountains adds flavor to the tea grown here. No wonder Darjeeling tea is still the best tea in the world. Darjeeling, once the summer sanitarium of the then ruling British, is now the favorite tourist destination. The inhabitants here belong to various races, color, religions and linguistic backgrounds, yet they live in total harmony. Darjeeling is also known for its heritage Himalayan railways, with one of the world's oldest steam locomotives still pulling along numerous visitors to witness the beauty of Darjeeling and of its people. The railways brought trade and civilization to the hills. The railways also brought the Christian missionaries. Father Ignatius Koch, a Belgian missionary, came to Kurseong in 1885. He was instrumental behind St. Mary's Seminary in Kurseong, which soon started sowing the seeds of faith among the locals and produced hundreds of missionaries for the entire nation.
St. Mary's College in Kurseong took theologians who had to study theology from all over India. For many years it was the only one college for theology, and so we had the privilege really of getting to know a lot of Jesuits.
Around the same time, Father Henry Deppelchin assumed charge in Darjeeling, and in the year 1888 opened the gates of North Point Residential School. The Jesuit presence and the missionary work reached newer heights with the arrival of Canadian missionaries in 1947.
The Canadian Jesuits started coming in 1947, the year of independence. Most of our work was in education and a couple of parishes. Only afterwards did they branch out into social work.
August 1962, our diocese was erected. But to make this diocese up to that standard, Jesuits were among the most effective pioneers missionary. More than 100 years now, they have been working, they have been serving the people of this region.
A newer dimension began. From the Darjeeling Hills, the mission expanded to the plains among the tea garden tribal laborers and to the entire Himalayan region. From education to pastoral to social action, the mission spread its wings, extending up to Nepal, Bhutan, and Tibet. From the pioneering Belgian Jesuits to the Canadian missionaries, the Jesuit presence in the district of Darjeeling has undergone a major transformation and has touched many lives.
Over 50 Canadians have toiled here till today, and we are very fortunate to still have about 7 Canadians with us, though they are all over 80 years old. And now they have handed over the torch to the Indian Jesuits.
The Indian Jesuits today strive to reach greater heights for the glory. Educational Apostolate. Jesuits are known as schoolmasters of the world, and in Darjeeling, the tradition is kept up.
We are only 126 Jesuits in this province, but you will be amazed at the work that we do. We run 3 colleges and cater to over 4,000 students. We have 10 schools, the famous one being St. Joseph's School, North Point, regarded as one of the best schools in India.
St. Joseph's School, North Point, being the pioneer school, celebrates 125 years in rendering quality education in the hills. St. Alphonsus School in Kurseong serves as the pillar of education to the poor local Nepali children ever since its inception in 1891. In the higher education, St. Joseph's College in the hills caters mostly to the local students, many of whom are first-generation. St. Vincent School at Hatigisa was established in the year 1967 for the poor and the neglected tribal children, and still continues.
Is based on a conviction derived from the society's option for the poor, that we must reach out to the less privileged section of our society. So we came up with this idea that we need to bring them to that kind of an institution which is self-sustaining, and for that we need to have people who can pay the fees, and there should be a certain margin that can take care of the less privileged students.
Pastoral Apostolate. The core of the priestly vocation, and close to every Jesuit's heart, is the Pastoral Apostolate. Reconciling the world to God, a Jesuit priest stays close to the needy and suffering, spreading the kingdom of love with kingdom of justice. Darjeeling Jesuits work in some 12 parishes in 3 dioceses, being with the people in their every spiritual need and at their every hour, giving sacraments, offering Mass, baptizing, counseling, hearing confessions, visiting the sick, praying for the dead, and guiding and empowering youth and children. In the hills, adapting to the culture and customs of the people, the Jesuits celebrate Mass in Nepali, becoming one among the people. In the plains, the Jesuits speak the tribal language and offer Mass in Hindi, as the Jesuit parishes predominantly cater to the tribal tea garden laborers. Be it a local or a missionary, the Jesuits work with the same zeal and vigor, keeping their motto, Pastoral Magis, burning in their heart.
I've done a lot of work for families. I believe families are the most important thing in the world, the most important thing in the church. I've done a lot of counseling, giving retreats, and helping people with their problems, psychological and spiritual, and that's been very good. Living with people, getting very close to people.
Art and Media Apostolate. Realizing the power of media and art in spreading the word of God, the creative nature of Darjeeling Jesuits gets them involved in numerous apostolates. 2 young Jesuits trained in classical music and dance run the School for Dance and Music, training the young children to appreciate the rich cultural heritage. The music ministry, through spiritual hymns, brings people closer to God. Father William Burke translated the Bible into Nepali and also wrote a Nepali thesaurus.
I began to collect synonyms of Nepali because every day we had something like that. And then 40 years later, when I was sent back to Darjeeling from the plains, I had started this little book. Finally, I began to work on it and made this the first Nepali thesaurus, Sai Shabda. And for that, it was given the Madan Puraskar in 1994 by the Nepal government. That's the highest award for one book, the book of the year.
Social Apostolate. Darjeeling District, being located in the northeast corner of India, does not get the government aid and subsidy. Heeding to the need of the hour, the Jesuits started social welfare institutions to empower the marginalized. Hayden Hall in Darjeeling is the first social service center of the Jesuits with the motto, Human Development Through Love and Service. Began by Father Edgar Burns in 1969 and named after Father Edward John Hayden, the center caters to the needs of the marginalized, especially the poverty-stricken women and children of Darjeeling Hills. Hayden Hall works include training of paramedics in mother and child health care, nutrition, small-scale industry training in bags, carpet making and stitching, creche and play school for over 350 children, and Burns Home for the aged.
Human development through love and service. With the same motto, now we are trying to expand to the Kainjalia region, and many more professionals, especially the professors and plus social work professionals are joining to help us. With this, we hope to expand much more the entire hills of Darjeeling as well as to the plains.
I've been very fortunate in building up a staff of very devoted, and I have nothing but gratitude to God and to the society, which has always supported the work.
St. Alphonsus Social and Agricultural Centre, Sasak, in Kurseong, founded by Father Murray Abraham in 1975, began with the motto, "Helping the poor help themselves." Sasak has brought together well-wishers from across the world to help the poor raise themselves out of poverty through projects like education, agriculture, animal husbandry, forestry, and house building.
We try to have programs going that help the poor. And in the process, they get to learn all sorts of skills. So this is one of the things we're trying to do in a very, very small way. And that's about all I can say about society.
Jesu Ashram, a hospice for the destitute, began in 1971 by Brother Robert Mittelholz with the motto, "Creating Caring Communities." Jesu Ashram takes care of the poorest of the poor with medical care, particularly treating leprosy, HIV/AIDS, TB, along with the general medical needs.
Treatment is free of cost, without discriminating anybody on the basis of religion and caste and creed. So people love this place and they come here for the treatment. And since there are more than 400 beds, so you can imagine the number of patients here. Every day we cook around 2 quintals of rice. Around 16 years back, we also have started a junior nursing training, and this program introduced for the poor children from the villages.
Gandhi Ashram, a blend of social apostolate and education apostolate to a creative maximum, is the Gandhi Ashram School in the Kalimpong Hills. Father Edward Maguire, a Canadian missionary, came upon this novel plan in 1996 of educating the local children with emphasis in music along with their regular studies. Gandhi Ashram meets all the educational and medical expenses of these students, and these children are helped up to their employment.
It is a home where they are nurtured with much care and love. They are given opportunities and a hope of the better future. We have 300 students with 300 stories. Subhash Darji is such a story.
My ambition is to become a scientist, but my father passed away and my mother has gone with another man. My grandmother is seeing all us of my brothers and sisters.
Subhash Dorji is the eldest of 3 kids living close to Gandhi Ashram School. His father died of excessive drinking and his mother ran away with another man, leaving her 3 children under the care of their grandmother. Gandhi Ashram adopted all 3 kids, providing them free education, food and shelter.
हाम्रो चाहिँ दुःख देखेर फादरले 3 जना लगाइदिएको छ। राम्रो गरेको हो फादरले हामीलाई। त्यहाँदेखि मेरो छोरी यत्रै थियो, फादरले नाम लेख्यो हो, लगाइदियो। त्यही स्कुल पढेर मेरो छोरी अब हो बम्बईमा भाइलिन टिचर गर्छ।
My Gandhi Ashram school will help me to become a scientist.
The Society of Jesus has carried a flame for nearly 500 years through innumerable social and cultural circumstances that have challenged it intensely to keep that flame alive and burning. As for the Darjeeling Jesuits, it is the benefactors who enable them to carry the flame and ignite other fires. A major contribution of the benefactors is also the formation of the Jesuits from novitiate till ordination, helping them to carry the torch forward. The young Jesuits in formation are from all over India and from neighbouring Bhutan and Nepal, striving to heed the call of God.
That is to imitate and to follow Christ.
As the motto of the Jesuit goes, they are always on the lookout to do more for the Lord and His people. For the greater glory of God and salvation of men, Ignatius desired that his companions go wherever there was hope of the more universal good. Go to those who have been abandoned. Go to those who are in greater need. With this purpose in mind, every Jesuit is trained for the dedicated life and sacrifices for the good of man.
What I want is to serve God, whatever He wants. I've found very wonderful people, and I've enjoyed serving them.
For the past 60 years that I've been here, I've been very happy. If I had to live my life over, this is what I would do again.
With the continued support of their well-wishers and friends, walking in the footsteps of their founder and model, St. Ignatius, the Darjeeling Jesuits strive to go the extra mile and do more in everything they are entrusted with, serving their Master, Jesus Christ.